भावितं तां सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांशां नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरूपस्य कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Welcome to all the devotees to our weekly Bhakti Vaibhav class. After 2 days vibrant festivities, today again we are meeting. All devotees must have been tired with all the different festival services and all. So, but however, we shall continue our discussion. So, in the previous weeks, the previous classes, we have been discussing how Dhruva Maharaj, being insulted by his stepmother, traveled to the forest following the instruction of his mother to worship Lord Vishnu. Then Narada Muni comes and tests the determination of Dhruva, then teaches Dhruva how to worship the Supreme Lord, what mantra should be chanted, how to perform meditation, etc., which kind of form of Paramatma should be meditated upon. All these things. Narada Muni clearly instructs Dhruva where to go and how to perform his sadhana, etc. Then Dhruva Maharaj, with the due permission, goes to Madhuvan to perform tapasya. In the meantime, when the small kid left home, the father was feeling so much sorry that it is because of me that I have been attached to a lady. I ignored a small kid and his mother. As a result of that, the kid is in the forest, whether it's still living or not, whether it's surviving or not, don't know. The sin of the death of a child is me only, is mine only, something like that. Then Narada Muni comes and consoles him that, my dear king, don't worry. Your son is under the protection of Supreme Lord, and very soon he will have Darshan of Supreme Lord and he will become so great that you might think that Dhruva is your son, but the world will know you as the father of Dhruva in the future. He will not only spread his own glories, he will spread your glories also. Don't worry. Very soon he will come home. So Narada consoled Uttanapada and assured him that very soon Dhruva will come back. Then Narada disappeared from there. So the parents of Dhruva, Uttanapada, Suniti and all became kind of pacified. Then Dhruva, having gone to Madhuvan, took bath in the Yamuna, purified himself, prepared a deity with mud and worshipped the deity with whatever available, and then began to perform the yoga, Ashtadhyana. So he was so much absorbed in his worship, in his sadhana. First month he was eating only once in 3 days, some berries, berry fruits, etc., some roots and berry fruits. Second month he was only eating dry leaves once in 6 days. Third month he was only drinking a small palmful of water once in 9 days. Fourth month he was just breathing once in 12 days. Fifth month he breathed only once in 15 days. And sixth month he stopped breathing. So by the end of the sixth month, the breathing of the entire universe stopped. And since he controlled breathing, he came to the state of samadhi that he was able to visualize Paramatma in the core of his heart. That means the Supreme Lord is inside his heart. The entire universe is inside his heart. So his body became so heavy, the Bhumandala sunk down by half Pradesha, about 3.5 inches it went down, something like that. He became so heavy. And because he stopped breathing, the entire universe choked up. The Devatas, afraid of what is going to happen, they immediately went to Lord Vishnu and informed him, "My dear Lord, see what's happening. We are not able to stop." Then Lord assured that no, this is not because of something pralaya or something like that. One of my devotees concentrating on me. As a result of that, he stopped breathing, and you are breathing choked up. And very soon things become normal. Don't worry. Go back to your respective places. No harm will happen to you. So something like that. Then, having consoled all the devatas, now Lord Vishnu will become visible to Dhruva. That will be explained in the next chapter. In the 9th chapter, Dhruva Maharaj, after praising the Lord who just arrived and stood in front of Dhruva, Dhruva offers prayers and receives benedictions from the Supreme Lord. And those benedictions brought remorse to Dhruva, and then he returns home. He was feeling sorry that I have come to the Supreme Lord instead of desiring for prema, as Narada told. I have desired for some position in the material world. I have been rarely cheated. Something like that. He was feeling sorry. And then he goes home. He meets his family members, father, mother, every other family members. And eventually, the father, as soon as Dhruva returns, the father makes Dhruva the next king, and father himself also goes to forest to worship the Supreme Lord. Like that, the son inspired the father to take on to the process of bhakti very seriously. So all these things we will see in this chapter. So this chapter has got 67 verses. So there are prayers from text number 6 to 17. Then Lord also awards blessings from 18 to 27. And then Dhruva returns home 29 to 67. So the description of their capital city and also the palace in which Dhruva residing, all these things are also mentioned in that section. So let us go ahead. So today we'll try to cover the prayers of Dhruva Maharaj until 17th verse. Hopefully Krishna will. Then we'll move on. So now the first verse. Maitreya Uvacha.
Maitreya Uvacha.
Tayevamustanna Bhayavurukrame.
Tayevam Sanna Bhayavurukrame.
Krutavanama Prayayustrivistapam.
Kritavanama Prayayustrivishtapan.
Sahasrashirsha Pitato Gurutmata.
Sahasrashirsha Pitato Guruttamata.
Madhurvanam Bhrutyadidrikshaya Gataha.
Madhurvanam Bhritya Didikshaya Gataha. The great sage Maitreya told Vidura, when the demigods were thus reassured by the personality of Godhead, they were freed from all fears. And after offering their obeisances, they returned to their heavenly planets. Then the Lord, who is non-different from the Sakasrashisha incarnation, go on the back of Garuda, who carried him to the Madhuvana forest to see his servant Dhruva.
Now Maitreya is narrating what happened then. After assuring the Devatas that nothing will happen, and after seeing them going backward to respective abodes, then Lord Vishnu arrived here. Relieved of their fear, offering respects to the Supreme Lord, the Devatas returned to heaven, their respective abodes. By means of Garuda, that means mounting Garuda, the Lord also known as Sahasrashirsha, thereafter went to Madhuvana with a desire to see his servant. So this is Sahasrashirsha, whom we can call as Kyudaksha Vishnu, and also Prabhupada says that he is Garbhodaksha Vishnu, something like that. But in any case, Lord Vishnu, that Lord Vishnu who is responsible for taking care of the entire universe, it is understood from Laghu Bhagavatamrita that The avatara who appeared in front of Dhruva was Lord Prishnigarbha, the son of Prishni and Sutapa. So just like Kardama, who was one of the sons of Lord Brahma, whom Brahma instructed, my dear son, please get married and beget children who would populate the entire universe. So Kardama, following the instruction of his father, performed tapasya for 10,000 years and eventually got married to Devahuti. We got 9 daughters who were married to 9 Prajapatis who populated the entire universe, also had the Supreme Lord as his son. Similarly, there was another son, Sutapa, whom Lord Brahma told, oh, my dear son, please get married and beget children, populate the universe. So Sutapa married Prishni, and both of them also performed tapasya with a desire to have a son like the Supreme Lord. And they performed severe tapasya for so 12,000 Devata years, so long. Then Lord was so pleased with them. Lord told that, why one time I'll appear as your son for 3 times. So first time he appeared as Prishnigarbha, as the son of Prishni and Sutapa. Second time he appeared as Vamana, as the son of Aditi and Kashyapa. And third time he appeared as Vasudeva Krishna, as the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. So that Lord Vishnu appeared as Prishnigarbha for the first time. The same Lord appeared in front of Dhruva to bless Dhruva Maharaj. That is indicated by Sri Rupa Goswami in Laghu Bhattamrita. Prishni and Sutapa were the expansions of Devaki and Vasudeva, and they performed austerities for 12,000 Devata years to get a son who is exactly like the Supreme Lord. So this is some backstory of Prishnigarbha. He is also called as Sahasra, which refers to Garbhodakshaya Vishnu or Kyudakshaya Vishnu, because they are non-different, both being Lord Vishnu. Both Garbhodakshaya Vishnu and Kyudakshaya Vishnu are non-different from each other, so they can be called as Sahasra Purusha. And that Sahasra Purusha appeared in front of Dhruva Maharaj to give him his darshan. Acharya say that this Lord is known at this point of time as Prishnigarbha because very recently he appeared as the son of Prishni, the wife of Sutapa, who was the son of Lord Brahma. So like that. So having bade farewell to Devatas, having consoled them, now Lord Vishnu came to the place where Dhruva was performing tapasya on the bank of Yamuna, a place known as Madhuvan. Yes. Next. Tavaidiya yoga vipaka tirtha tivraya
वैदिया योगविपाकतीव्रया
हृत्पद्मकोशे स्फुरितं तडित्प्रभम्
हृत्पद्मकोशे स्फुरितं तदित्प्रदं प्रभम्
तिरोहितं सहसैवोपलक्ष्यते
तिरोहितं सकस्वैवोपलक्षये
बहिः स्थितं तद् अवस्थं ददर्श
बहिः स्थितं तद् अवष्टं ददर्श. The form of the Lord, which was brilliant like lightning, and in which Dhruva Maharaja in his mature yoga process was fully absorbed in meditation, all of a sudden disappeared. Thus Dhruva was perturbed and his meditation broke. As soon as he opened his eyes, he saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead personally present, just as he had been seeing the Lord in his heart.
Seeing that the brilliant as lightning manifested in the lotus of his heart by intense meditation of advanced yoga had disappeared suddenly, Dhruva then saw that form situated externally. So basically, the Lord mounting Garuda came all the way from Ksheerasagara, Shvetadvipa, to Madhuvan on the bank of Yamuna where Dhruva was performing the tapasya to give him his audience. Though the Lord came, but Dhruva was deep in concentration, deep in meditation. So in order to no, make Dhruva notice that Lord has come. Lord enters into his heart. So Dhruva was meditating upon Paramatma. Now suddenly the Paramatma vanished and somebody else came. And Dhruva saw that wonderful, dazzling, shining, beautiful form. And Dhruva became so happy, so happy. In no time, that form disappeared. Then Dhruva got disturbed. Then he opened his eyes. Then he saw that form standing in front of him. That is indicated in this verse. Seeing that the Lord, okay, the Lord going there, entering the heart of Dhruva, who had his eyes closed in concentration, meditation, showed himself. So, though Lord standing in front of him, but Dhruva had closed eyes. He was in deep meditation. So, the Lord entered into the heart of Dhruva and showed himself to Dhruva in the heart. Then he disappeared. Then Lord came out of the heart of Dhruva and stood in front of Dhruva. But Dhruva was trying to see the Lord in the heart. Seeing the Lord suddenly appear and suddenly disappear like lightning in his heart by intense concentration through advanced yoga meditation, Dhruva began to lament like a person who has lost a treasure since he had seen the Lord near him. So, with his closed eyes, in the core of his heart, he saw the Lord suddenly and he became very happy as if he got lottery. Then Lord disappeared. Then he became morose as if his entire wealth was stolen by somebody thief. So, like that. His samadhi was broken and he opened his eyes. He then saw the same Lord situated before him externally. So now Dhruva cannot continue samadhi furthermore. So his samadhi was broken. When he opened his eyes, the Lord was in front of him. Same thing happened to Narada boy also. When Narada was a small boy, the son of a maid servant, he was also walking all over, and at one point of one time, he saw a banyan tree. He took bath nearby river and stood in front of underneath the banyan tree, and he began to perform similar kind of dhyana. He was meditating on Paramatma. Because of his sincerity of meditation and determination, the Lord suddenly appeared in the core of his heart. So Narada Muni was relishing that beauty of the Supreme Lord, and suddenly the form disappeared. And Narada Muni was trying to meditate once again so that he can see that form once again. He was trying hard, trying hard, trying hard. He could not see the form of the Lord once again. Then Akashavani spoke. Oh, my dear Narada, just to increase your eagerness to see me, I showed myself to you once. So in this life, you will see only this much. In the next life, you get to see me every time and every place. So like that, Lord announces. Then Narada understood. Then the Narada gets up and then he starts walking. So like that. Same thing here. Dhruva also, he saw the Lord. Then he tried to see the Lord once again, but he could not. So his meditation was broken. He was not able to focus on meditation. Then he opened his eyes. Then he saw the Lord in front of him. So like that. So by seeing the transcendental form of the Lord, what was the response of Dhruva? Taddarshanena gata sadva sakshitau. Hare Krishna.
Darshineन gata sadavashakiptistau
Avandatangam vinamaya dandavat.
avantatangam vinamaya dandavat
Drigbyam prapasyan prapiban ivarbakas.
dribhyan prapaishyan prapiban ivak bakash
Chumban ivasena ivaslishan.
chumpan ivashyena bhujair ivashlishan. When Dhruva Maharaja saw his lord just in front of him, he was greatly agitated and offered him obeisances and respect. He fell flat before him like a rod and became absorbed in love of Godhead. Dhruva Maharaja in ecstasy looked upon the Lord as if he were drinking the Lord with his eyes, kissing the lotus feet of the Lord with his mouth, and embracing the Lord with his arms.
Dhruva, who was agitated by seeing the Lord, offered respects by falling flat on the earth. He seemed to drink the sweetness of the Lord with his eyes, kiss his feet by bowing his head, and embrace him with his arms touching the tips of his feet. So, as soon as he saw the Lord in front of him, he fell flat and offered obeisances. So, while offering obeisances, with his two tender hands, Dhruva was clasping unto the feet of the Supreme Lord, and his forehead also touching the feet of the Supreme Lord. So all these things are indicated as if Dhruva is smelling the fragrance of the Lord's lotus feet, and Dhruva is embracing Lord's lotus feet, and Dhruva is tasting Lord's lotus feet. So all these things are indicated by the act of clasping Lord's lotus feet by the tender hands of Dhruva. Confused by the bliss that appeared on seeing the Lord with his eyes, he seemed to drink the sweetness of his lotus face. So just by looking at the Lord's transcendental form, Dhruva seems to be drinking the nectar of Lord's beauty. So that's what is experienced. And then touching the tips of Lord's lotus feet, Dhruva seemed to embrace the Lord with his arms. So while offering obeisances, Dhruva touched Lord's feet. So that appeared as if he is embracing the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. And then Pujair in the plural instead of dual to show that with his two arms he performed many actions of embracing. This suggests trembling of his body due to bliss. So basically, his whole body was trembling. He was embracing, but that is not a constant one. It keeps going here, there, forward, backward, and touching here, there, etc. like that. So he keeps on moving his arms and trying to touch the feet of the Lord, front, back, left side, right side, like that. So small boy, small 5 years old boy, how much tender feet must be having? So Lord's feet might be very big. So uh, he might be like trying to touch the every part of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So in that way, it is indicated that he is shaking. His whole body is shaking. His arms are moving. So both are happening simultaneously. So because when a great person stands in front of us, so we also don't know what to do. So we do all mistakes. So something like that. Here Dhruva also trying to do. So like that is doing. Then after touching the feet of the Supreme Lord, then Dhruva gets up and is standing in front of the Lord and is gazing at the Lord. He does not know what to do. He want to offer prayers, but he don't know what kind of prayers he can offer. He is like a small boy, he did not go to school only. He just heard from Narada Muni what to do and he did it. To offer prayers to the Supreme Lord in all poetry, proper grammar, etc. So he was standing with a clueless in front of the Lord. Then, out of mercy upon Dhruva, the Lord touches his lotus hand upon the head of Dhruva. So that is being indicated in the next verse.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Ah.
8 kinds of transcendental ecstasy, वो क्या है प्रभु जी?
वो तो 12वां स्टेज में होता है ना, ट्रेम्बलिंग.
अच्छा, ओके.
Tears coming out of eyes, continuous tears, trembling of the body, air standing on the end, and unable to speak. So all that symptoms of bhava, they are manifested in Dhruva.
Very bold. Thank you.
Satam vivakshantamatadvidam hari.
Satam
Satam
vivak
vivaksanta atadvidam harir.
Jnattvasya sarvasya cha hrudyavastitaha.
Jnatvasya sarvasya cha hridi avastitaha.
Kritanjalim brahmamayena kambuna.
Kritanjalim brahmamayena kambuna.
Pasparshabalam kripaya kapole.
Pasparshabalam kripaya kapole. Although Dhruva Maharaj was a small boy, he wanted to offer prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in suitable language. But because he was inexperienced, he could not adjust himself immediately. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, being situated in everyone's heart, could understand Dhruva Maharaja's awkward position. Out of his causeless mercy, he touched his conch shell to the forehead of Dhruva Maharaj, who stood before him with folded hands. Hare Krishna.
So, first of all, he was bewildered. He's a small kid and he does not know what to do. And Lord suddenly appeared and he offered obeisances, at least that much, he might have learned from his parents and all. So, while offering obeisances, he touched the feet of the Supreme Lord. He was trying to experience the touch of the complete feet. He was moving his hands here, there, everywhere, as if he was embracing the feet of the Supreme Lord. And he was looking at the transcendental form of the Supreme Lord as if drinking the beauty of the Supreme Lord. And then other things are also happening. So then he stood. Of course, he offered obeisances for a while. Then he stood. How long he will continue to offer? Then you don't know what to do. Then the Lord, situated in everyone's heart and in Dhruva's heart as well. The Lord as Paramatma is there in the heart of everyone. He understands what Jiva wants to do. That's how, as Paramatma is sanctions. Now, since Dhruva wanted to offer prayers, and the Lord understood, but he is not able to do because he does not know. So what he knew is only Narada Muni taught him Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, seeing that Dhruva standing with folded hands wanted to speak but did not know how to express himself properly, touched Dhruva on the forehead with his conch, which was non-different from the Vedas, Brahmamayena Kambuna, out of his compassion. So, the Lord was standing with four arms, wearing Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, the arm which has the Shankha might be the front hand. So, just Lord wanted to touch the head of Dhruva. So, because Lord's hand is already holding conch shell, so the conch shell touched the head of Dhruva. As a result of that, all the Vedic realizations manifested in the heart of Dhruva through that conch shell. Because that conch shell is non-different from Vedas. Brahmamayena Kambuna. The conch shell is non-different from the Vedas. Because the Lord touched Dhruva with that conch shell, all Vedic imports are manifested in the heart of Dhruva. Just like we say that in the first verse of Bhagavatam that Tene Brahma Hudaya Adikavaye Muyanti Yasturaya. At the beginning of the creation, all the Vedic literatures are revealed in the core of the heart of Lord Brahma. How? By the playing flute of the Supreme Lord. Some devotees say like that. But in any case, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye. The Adikavi is Brahma in the core of the heart. All the Vedic literatures are revealed by the blessings of the Supreme Lord. Same way, by the touch of the Supreme Lord, there also Bhagavatam second canto we see that when Brahma performed tapasya for 1000 celestial years, then Lord Vishnu showed Mahavaikuntha and Vaikuntha Vasis, then Mother Lakshmi, then himself. Then when Brahma saw the Lord himself, Brahma was seated on his knees and offering obeisances to Supreme Lord with folded hands, looking at the beautiful face of the Supreme Lord. Then Lord touched the two folded hands, the Namaskar Mudra of Lord Brahma. So by that touch, the Brahma is endowed with all the knowledge. Just by the touch of the Lord, all the knowledge manifested, all the essence of all the Vedic literatures manifested in the core of the heart of Brahma. So same thing can happen to anybody. So when we have the touch of a great soul, the sight by the sight of a great soul, the import of all the Vedic literatures will manifest in the heart of a seeker. So that's why the devotees are always eager to get the touch or darshan of a great soul, not darshan, the sight of a great soul. So we may take darshan of a great soul, but when a great soul sees us, when a great soul touches us, the touch itself will purify us. Same thing happened to Prahlad also. When Prahlad came in front of Lord Narsingha and offered obeisances, then Lord Narsingha also touched on the head of Prahlad. Then the import of all the Vedic literatures revealed in the core of the heart of Prahlad. So this is a common feature which happens with many devotees. Mother Lakshmi says same thing. So my dear Lord, you are very intelligent. Because I may complain you always thinking like that. You kept me on your chest. You gave me place on your chest. But you never placed your lotus hand on my head, which you generally do with your devotees. All your devotees had the good fortune of having your lotus hand on their head, but you never did that with me. But if I ask, you say that no, no, what is the need for you? You're already on my chest. This is your trick. This is your intelligent deception. So just by saying that, you are deceiving me of the good fortune of receiving your celestial blessings by the touch of your lotus hand upon my head. Even Mother Lakshmi also anchors for the touch of Lord Vishnu's lotus hands on the head, but which she did not receive. But Dhruva received, Prahlada received. So like that. This is a great
Guruji,
blessing.
where it is told, Guruji? Lakshmi's is.
Fifth canto.
Acha.
Fifth canto, chapter 18, Mother Lakshmi offers prayers. There she says that you deceptively kept me on your chest and you never kept your lotus hand on my head. That you only do it for your devotees.
Okay. Thank you, Guruji. Hare Krishna.
So now, Dhruva wanted to speak of the Lord's qualities, but he did not know how to do it. Atadvidam. Knowing that Dhruva could not express himself in Sanskrit, since he did not know grammar, the Lord touched him on the forehead with his conch. Basically, the right hand holding the conch. Pasparsha Kambuna. Basically, Lord wanted to touch with his hand, but the hand is already held one of the four symbols, Shanka Chakra Gada Padma. So that hand with which Lord kind of put forward to touch Dhruva has conchal. So along with the conchal, Lord touched, which was composed of the Vedas, Brahma Mayena. Lord's conchal is composed of Vedas. So it's like that. So in relation to Supreme Lord, nothing is material. Everything is actually spiritual, and everything is a spiritual personality. Recently on Gaur Purnima, one of the devotee here, they were speaking this aspect. So nothing in relation to Lord is material. Everything is spiritual. Like one ornament of the Supreme Lord is, it appeared as a great devotee in this world. So like Kaustuba gem appeared as Mukunda Mala. What are this king name? The writer of the Mukunda Mala Sutra. Kulashekara. King Kulashekara. So like that, various devotees appeared as Kaustubamani appeared as some devotee, and like that, he was telling few couple of devotees names he took. So everything in the Lord's association is a personality, and they are a great transcendental personalities. So in case of Jagannath, we also keep Sudarshana. Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, and Sudarshana is also a separate person. So like that. So here the conch shell is compared to Brahmamaya, matlab Vedas personified. So by his touch, the import of all the Vedic literatures manifested in the heart of Dhruva. Now, so Swapadamole Paditam Tamarbakam Vilokya Deva Kripaya Paripluta. What is this? This is verse here or okay, this is a different verse. विलोक्य देवा कृपया परिप्लुता उत्ताप्यत शीर्ष्ण्यददात् कदा कराम्बुजं कलाहि वित्रस्सदियां कृताभयम्. This is for Prahlad Maharaj. When Prahlad Maharaj offering obeisance to Supreme Lord Nrsimhadev, Lord lifted him and touched his head. When Lord Nrsimhadeva saw the small boy Prahlada prostrated at the soles of his feet, overcome with affection, he raised Prahlada and placed upon the boy's head his lotus hand, which destroys fear in the minds of persons afraid of the snake of time. So like that. So that is the connection we can see. So recently somebody was telling this one point, like in relation to different avatars why Lord appears also. So at this point of time, after raising Prahlada, after blessing him on the head, then Prahlada offered wonderful prayers. Then Narsingha awarded some blessings. Then finally, before leaving, Narsingha Deva made Prahlada to sit on his lap. And Narsingha Deva kissed just like a lion kisses a lion cub. So child lion, like that Narsingha Deva was kissing the small Prahlad and smelling his head and like that, just like a father treats the son with loving affection, that he was doing. Then Narsingha Deva had a thought. See, I am showing love to Prahlada and I am accepting Prahlada like my son. But I want to experience that feeling of being a son. So Prahlada is so happy that he's seated on the lap of mine, and then he's so happy in my affectionate embrace. So I want to have that experience. So in order to experience that, Lord appeared as Ramachandra. So to experience the love and affection being a child of the parents. So Lord Rama would experience the love and loving affection of Dasharath Maharaj, Kausalya, and Kaikeyi and Sumitra, three mothers and father. So much love and affection Lord Rama received throughout his childhood. But eventually, in due course of time, Lord Rama and Mother Sita supposed to go to forest, and there they were residing together for 13 years. Out of 14 years of Vanavas, 13 years they were together. But in the 14th year, Mother Sita was abducted by Ravana. So in that 1 year, out of pain in separation, Lord Rama was intensely remembering Mother Sita. Of course, previously when Sita and Lord Rama were together, they were remembering each other. That is, anyway, they are in front of. That is not like a intended remembrance. It happens normally. But in the absence of Mother Sita, Lord Rama was continuously remembering her without fail. Even 1 second without the memory of Mother Sita, he would not. Whatever he would see here and there, he would immediately remember Sita, Mother Sita. That with Mother Sita, what would be, I mean, like anything, any water pond, if you see, he would remember with Mother Sita what he was doing in that similar kind of water pond, the past times. So like that, everything he would see, he would remember Mother Sita. So like that, everything was reminding him of Mother Sita only. So then Lord Rama thought that, wow, this experience is much more than anything else. In union, there is some experience, but in separation, there is much more intense experience. So I want to have that experience. In order to experience that, the Lord again appeared as Sri Krishna. Where Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani were together during his initial 11.5 years. Then Lord Krishna left behind Srimati Radharani and all the gopis and went to Madura and then Dwaraka. There he was remembering Srimati Radharani every day, every moment. And he relished so much. Hare Krishna, kindly mute. Okay. So he was remembering so much Srimati Radharani and all the other gopis and Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj and all the other Vrajavasis for so long. Lord Rama only in remembering Mother Sita for 1 year. But Lord Krishna was remembering for how many years? So many, 90 minus 15, 75, 75 minus 10, 11, 64. Almost 64 years he was remembering the Vrajavasis. After leaving Vrindavan, for 64 years, Lord was away. About 13 years, he was in Madura and then remaining 13, 14 years in Madura, 50 years in Dwaraka. So 50 plus 14, 64 years, he was only remembering the Vrajavasis, Gopis and Srimati Radharani in separation. Long cherishment. But eventually, after Rajasuya sacrifice, Lord Krishna had to go to Dwaraka immediately to kill, to fight with Shalva, who just attacked Dwaraka. And then he went to Madura to kill Dantavakra and Vidurata. Then, after killing Dantavakra and Vidurata in Madura, nearby areas of Madura, then he went to Vrindavan. There, whatever experience Lord Krishna had for the last 64 years, when he went to Vrindavan, he saw Srimati Radharani and all other gopis are experiencing 1,000 times more than what Lord Krishna experienced himself. The love in separation that is experienced by Lord Krishna may be 1 unit, but the same thing that was experienced by Srimati Radharani and other gopis was 1,000 times more than that of Sri Krishna. Then Lord Krishna thought, oh, what is this? I thought I am only experiencing that bliss, the love in separation, but the gopis and Srimati Radharani are experiencing more than me. I want to experience that. What is that Srimati Radharani experiences in separation from me, which is 1,000 times more than that what I experience? So to experience that, Lord Krishna then appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So like that, so Lord also has to incarnate in order to relish those experiences of some of his devotees in different rasas. So in this way, we can see the connection between Prahlad Maharaj, Narsinga Dev, Lord Rama, Dasharath Maharaj, and Lord Rama and Mother Sita, then Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Similarly, there was at another time, in the second canto, it is said that Prachoditayena Pura Saraswati Vitanvatajasya Satim Smutim Hrudi Swalakshana Pradurabhut Kilashayat Same Rishinam Rishabha Prasidatam. This is a verse spoken by Sukadeva Goswami. When Parikshit Maharaj asks the questions about, please speak about the past tense of Supreme Lord, to start with the Srishti. In order to answer, Sukadeva Goswami offering prayers to Supreme Lord. So this is one of his last prayer, wherein he says, may the Supreme Lord, the best of the sages, be pleased with me. Inspired by him, at the beginning of the creation, at the beginning of the Kalpa, Mother Saraswati, whose aim is to reveal Krishna, appeared from the mouth of Lord Brahma and revealed proper memory to carry out creation in his heart. Similarly, may Mother Saraswati also manifest in my mouth and speak the wonderful past tense Supreme Lord so that Parikshit Maharaj can be satisfied, can attain perfection of his life. That was the prayer offered by Parikshit Maharaj. So basically, Mother Saraswati being inspired by the Supreme Lord manifests in the heart and in the tongue of those devotees. Same thing by the touch of Lord Vishnu or Lord Narsingha upon Lord Dhruva or Prahlad, The Vedic revelations will manifest in their hearts, and Mother Saraswati will manifest herself in their tongue. There, for 7th canto, Prahlad Maharaj offered wonderful prayers. Now, in the 4th canto, Dhruva Maharaj will offer wonderful prayers, being empowered by the Supreme Lord. So, that is indicated in the text number 5. Pavai tadaiva pratipaditam giram. Hare Krishna.
तदैव प्रतिपादितगिरम्
Daivim parignata paratma nirnayah.
दैवीं परिज्ञातपरात्मनिर्णयः
Tam bhakti bhavo begrinad asatvaram.
तं भक्तिभावो विकृणात् असत्परम्
Parishrutoru shravasam druvakshitihi.
परिश्रुतोरुस्रवसं At that time, Dhruva Maharaj became perfectly aware of the Vedic conclusion and understood the absolute truth and his relationship with all living entities. In accordance with the line of devotional service to the Supreme Lord, whose fame is widespread, Dhruva, who is in the future, would receive a planet which would never be annihilated, even during the time of dissolution, offered his deliberate and conclusive prayers.
So now, what kind of realization that Dhruva had? A glimpse of that is mentioned here. Having gained words to describe the Lord, understanding the difference between Jiva and the Supreme Lord, and possessing only devotion as the goal. Till now, Dhruva had a desire. Padam Tribhuvanotkrishtam Jigisho Sadhu Vartme. I want to attain a place superior to that of Lord Brahma, the topmost place in the entire universe. That was the desire of Dhruva. But now, at this point of time, after seeing the Supreme Lord, after touching the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, after touched by the lotus hand of the Supreme Lord, Dhruva had no more material desires. He only possesses devotion for the Supreme Lord as his life's single most ambition. Dhruva completely forgot for what he came here. Now we only want to have bhakti for the Supreme Lord, nothing more. This is the transformation in Dhruva. By the touch of the Supreme Lord, Dhruva touched the Lord's lotus feet and Lord's lotus hand touched Dhruva. Both the things transformed the heart of Dhruva completely. And also Dhruva had darshan of Supreme Lord. So in that way, Dhruva, who would attain an indestructible abode, then praised the Supreme Lord, whose fame is widespread without any hasty conclusions. So, with proper understanding, with proper deliberation, Dhruva then offered prayers. He did not offer prayers upar upar, idhar udhar, just like that. Astrally did not offer. He offered in choice poetry, uh, depicting the highest conclusions of all Vedic literatures. So, in that way, having gained words to describe the Lord, Dhruva offered prayers. Dhruva understood the distinction between the Paramatma and Jivatma, and Dhruva's life's single most goal is bhakti, not Sankhya, not yoga, not kingdom, not this, not that, only bhakti. So he only has bhakti bhava in his heart. Gaining control of himself, Dhruva began to offer praises of the Supreme Lord, whose fame is widespread. Widespread. So the Lord whose glories are spread everywhere, he is now glorified by Dhruva. Dhruva would have a place which would not be destroyed during Pralaya. Dhruvakshitihi. Because Dhruva came here with an intention to get a place that is superior to that of Brahma. So that place is awarded. In addition to that place, Dhruva is also awarded Prema Bhakti. Both are there. But Dhruva is not interested in the place. Dhruva is only interested in Prema Bhakti. That is the transformation. Though he came for place, the place is offered to him. In addition to that, Prema Bhakti is also awarded to him. But by the touch, by the darshan, by the touch of the Supreme Lord, Dhruva is not interested in that place. He was only interested in Prema Bhakti. That is only there in his heart. That is being indicated. So with that Prema Bhakti, now Dhruva offers wonderful prayers, starting from text number 6 to 17. That means about 12 verses. There are 12 prayers, which are the essence of all the Vedic literatures. So before beginning, any questions till now? All of you are able to follow?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
So let us try to.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So, Prabhuji,
Yeah.
we hear that Dhruva case, he didn't achieve the Lord by the practice, but it was a Kripa Siddha Bhakta. So, because of the glass, he became a devotee.
Ah.
So, means which shloka in Bhagavad is mentioned that Lord glances and like the Bhagavad specifically mentioned, or like it is the explanation of Acharya.
No, here you can see, na, Lord is glancing upon Dhruva, Lord is touching Dhruva, everything is there, na. So if that is the statement comes in anywhere in the scriptures, you can see the proof here only. First of all, Dhruva, the Lord is glancing at Dhruva, and Dhruva also looking at the Lord and drinking the nectar of the beauty of the Lord. Then he touched Lord's lotus feet, and the Lord also touched with his hand. All these things are happening. So all these things can be considered to be Lord's Krupa upon Dhruva. And even before that, Narada Muni also touched on the head of Dhruva. So that was also special Krupa of Narada Muni upon Dhruva. And also Dhruva performed intense sadhana also. He is not only just Krupa Siddha Bhakta, he also performed intense sadhana 6 months. We can't even imagine. So just 2 days back, devotees were fasting till evening and they were looking at the watch from 4 o'clock onwards. When it will be 6 o'clock, when it will be 7 o'clock, when will I break the fast? For us to fast one day, morning to evening itself is very unbearable. And Dhruva was eating for the first month only. At that too, 5 years old boy, not 40 years old man. 5 years old boy fasting for 3 days in the first month and eating only berries, not asking for ice cream or chocolate. And then once in 6 months some dry leaves, once in 9 days some water, once in 12 days only breathing. How can one survive on breathing alone? So that is also indicates intense sadhana Dhruva performed. And our sadhana is nowhere comparable to what Dhruva is doing. So Dhruva is both sadhana siddha and krupa siddha. Both we can see. Rupa Goswami talks about it in the Bhakti Samandru. Yeah. So we'll go ahead with the prayers. Now let us see. Dhruva Uvacha.
एक्झाम नंतर उद्या खेळणार उद्या भैया उद्या खेळणार तुझ्याकडून
Hare Krishna.
चल
Please mute. Someone repeat. Dhruva Uvacha.
Dhruva Uvacha.
Yo anta pravishya mama vachamimam prasuptam.
Yo anta prabhashya mama vacham imam prasuptam.
Sanjeevayeti akila shakti dara swadhamna.
Sanjeevati akila sakti darasvadama damna.
Anyam cha hasta charana shravanatvagadin.
Anyam sahasta charanas shravanatvagadin.
Pranan namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam.
Pranan namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam. Dhruva Maharaja said, "My dear Lord, you are all powerful. After entering within me, you have enlivened all my sleeping senses, my hands, legs, ears, touch sensation, life force, and especially my power of speech. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you.
Hare Krishna. In our class, we are about 20 plus devotees. So request all the devotees to try to unmute and recite at least one verse in the entire class. So we may hardly cover some 15-20 verses. So if everyone recites one verse, everyone gets a chance, as well as everyone's participation is also involved. There are some devotees who never try to recite. Request everyone to recite one verse. And those devotees who already recited, so please give opportunity for other devotees also, so that they will recite. And kindly unmute immediately. Don't keep a lot of gap. If you keep lot of gap, other devotees open and then they recite. So all of you can recite one by one, everyone. So it will be good that everyone gets an opportunity. Don't worry, there could be some mistakes here and there. That doesn't matter. But everyone should try to participate. So, those devotees who did not recite in today's class, they all should recite. And those who already recited, so you can give the opportunity to others. If they don't do, then you can do. No problem. So now Dhruva is, this is one of the very interesting verse, very important verse also. If you observed, Gaur Gopal Prabhu, whenever he takes any class, after offering Premadani prayers, at the end he recites this verse. The first time when I came to Chowpati, I heard it from Dhruva, is a Gaur Gopal Prabhu. So since then I also like this verse. This is also one of my favorite verses. Very interesting verse. We will discuss the meaning of this. So here Dhruva Maharaj says, Yo anta pravishya mamavach mimam prasuptam sanjeevayati akila shakti dara swadamna anyam cha asta shravana charana shravanatvagadim pranan namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam. So yesterday during Jagannath Mishra festival class here in Mandi, we had online class by Vaishnav Maharaj, old as Vaishnav Maharaj. So at the beginning of the class, he was reciting one bhajan. Jeev jago, kota nidra chode. So he says that why Bhaktivinoda Tagore is calling Jeev jago. That time was around 8:15 or 8:20. The time when Bhagavatam class started, it was around 8:15. So now it is already 8:15. All of us got up. Some of us might have got up at 4 o'clock, some of us at 5 o'clock or something like that, whatever. But we all got up already 4 hours back only, 3-4 hours backward only. We are all awake. We took bath and we are in the temple. We attended the morning program. We attended Mangalarati, chanting japa, then Darshanarati, Guru Puja. Now we are sitting in the Bhagavatam class. So why Bhaktivinoda Tagore is saying जीव जागो हम तो उठ गए हम तो सो नहीं रहे. So what do you mean by that? So हम अभी उठ गए, थोड़ी देर के बाद प्रसाद भी लेंगे, थोड़ी देर के बाद ऑफिस भी जाएंगे, ये करेंगे वो करेंगे सब. We are active, we are doing everything normally. So why again जीव जागो? So Dhruva Maharaj is giving the answer. Oh my dear friends, all of you might be thinking that for night time when you are lying on the bed, that is you are sleeping, and daytime when you are sitting in front of your computer table and doing some work or going to office and cooking, eating, DT, all these other things you are doing, they are all waking. You might be thinking, no, that is not waking. That is also still sleeping. What to speak of still sleeping? It is as good as dead, living dead. Then what do you mean by alive? Whom we should call as is alive? That Dhruva is telling now. The answer is given here, which Srila Bhaktivinoda Tagore says there. Dhruva Maharaj says, I offer respects to the Supreme Lord, the possessor of all powers, Akila Shakti Dara. Om Namo Bhagavate Purushaya Tubhyam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That mantra he was reciting, same thing is started. I offer respect to the Supreme Lord who possesses all powers, who entering within me, yo antaha pravishya. So just now, the Lord entered into my heart and gave me darshan. it is for the first time in my life when the Lord entered into my heart. I have been born. Sanjeevayati has brought to life. By entering within my heart, the Lord brought me to life. Otherwise, till now, till that moment when the Lord entered my heart, till one moment before that, I was dead only. But by the entrance of the Lord brought me life. Lord gave me life. So what do you mean by that? What do you mean? आप अभी तक आप मरे हुए अभी जीवित हो गए मतलब क्या? So it's Romara says, Lord has brought me to life by spiritual energy, Swadamna, by spiritual energy. That means by the entrance of the Lord into my heart, the Lord made my personality into spiritual. Till now, I was a dead person, only materially conscious person. A person with material consciousness is as good as dead. Only a person with spiritual consciousness is living. So by Lord's entrance, till now Paramatma was there. Still I was dead. But right now, just now Bhagavan entered into my heart. I have become alive. He brought me life by spiritual energy. As a result of that, what happened? My power of speech, as well as my hands, feet, ears, skin, and life hairs, which had been sleeping, they all came to life. Man, buddhi, ahankara, chetana, jnanendriyas, karmendriyas, my soul, my pranas, all these things came to life by the personal entry, by the personal presence of the Supreme Lord in the core of my heart. Till now, because of the absence of the Lord's presence in my heart, I was dead. Though Paramatma was there, but now he is specifically talking about that Bhagavan who entered into his heart, keeping that in mind. Till now, I have been conscious of getting a place superior to that of Brahma, that is material consciousness. As long as a person is materially conscious, that means throughout the day, though we are awake, we are only interested in going to office, working, earning money, taking care of family, friends, relatives. All these things which are material activities are nothing but different types of mental activities. We are simply lifeless. While doing all these activities, a person is considered to be living dead. But when a person is completely dedicated to Lord's service, devotional service, prema bhakti, then a person is said to be living. Now Dhruva says that for the first time in my life, I noticed that I am alive. Since Dhruva, after attaining knowledge of the meaning of the Vedas from the Lord, praised him, the intelligent should not doubt the meaning of the Vedas expressed by him here. So somebody may say that, hey, this is a small boy. He is speaking incoherent words. What is speaking? Hey, what is this? A meaningless words is talking. Till now I was dead. Just now only I brought to I became alive. What kind of meaningless words is speaking? Useless talk is doing like that. One should not doubt, because Dhruva was specifically empowered by the touch of the Supreme Lord's lotus hand. What he speaks cannot be inappropriate, cannot be wrong. It is completely right and completely as per Vedic conclusions. No doubts at all. Seeing that all his senses had suddenly become inclined to the Lord, he understood that the Lord had made all his senses spiritual. Till now, the senses were simply attracted or attached to the material world. But now, for the first time, the senses become attached to Supreme Lord. That means now the senses become alive. Appreciating the incomparable, unconditional mercy of the Lord, Dhruva offers respects with astonishment. Like, what was that? Srila Prabhupada always says this one verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabanoy Shravanadi Shuddha Chitta Karoi Uday. That Krishna Prema is lying dormant in a sleeping or deep sleep state in the core of the heart. But when we practice sadhana bhakti, Shravanadi Shuddha Chitta, with pure heart, when we practice Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Atmanivedam, etc., that Krishna Prema, which is dormant in the core of the heart, becomes awakened. When that is awakened, then we can say that we are living. When that is not awakened, when Krishna Prema is not awakened in the heart, we are as good as dead, because our attraction is toward the material world. As long as we are attracted to material world, we are as good as dead. When we are attracted to Supreme Lord, we are alive. Because that was the reason. So, on Gaur Purnima day, we were discussing this. Afternoon, we had a class here. Why would the Lord expand into unlimited living entities both in the spiritual world and the material world? In order to exchange rasa, in order to exchange loving dealings with each other. If that was not the purpose, then what was the purpose? Why would the Lord create a world wherein people can be on their own and they can do whatever they want? What was the use of that? And suffer continuously? There is no use of that. Lord manifested all the living entities, especially Lord manifested himself in the form of two forms. One is Balramji, another one is Srimati Radharani. It is Balramji who expanded the unlimited living entities, unlimited Vishnu avatars, unlimited abodes. It is Srimati Radharani who expanded herself as the loving affection in each and every living entity, in each and every avatar also. That Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. These 5 kinds of sentiments are nothing but the expansion of Srimati Radharani. So that there is a exchange of rasa, exchange of love, exchange of service, exchange of affection between the Supreme Lord and all the devotees. So to facilitate that, Srimati Radharani and Balramji expand into unlimited forms so that the Supreme Lord can have more and more exchange of love. And when we fail to do, the Lord himself comes with his intimate associates and shows us how the Lord relishes the association of his intimate devotees, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all his intimate associates. At least by looking at them, we should understand that, wow, this is the real life. What the life that we are leading is actually not real life. This should be this is the real life, and we should be following this kind of lifestyle. In order to show us how one should exchange the loving dealings among the devotees, among the devotees and the Supreme Lord. Lord Krishna, Lord Rama, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they all appear to show us how the dealings of the Lord are completely spiritual and eternal and completely full of bliss. Like that.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Prabhuji, when Dhruva got the touch of conch and when he touched Lord, his senses awakened and it was like he was living the real thing. But then Supreme Personality of Godhead is also present in our heart as Paramatma. So why can't we, means like because he's present within us, then why can't we living? Why we are so much, attached to all these material things? He is himself there in our heart. And as you said, after sadhana bhakti of doing all shravanam, kirtanam, we get some glimpse of it. So even though the Lord is present, then why we are not experiencing that, Prabhuji?
No, Bhagavatam from the very beginning, if you see, Bhagavatam says that, okay, Paramatma is there in the heart, but make an endeavor to invite Bhagavan into your heart. Paramatma will remain till the time of death, but he remains indifferent to us. Even though we may ask him, please reciprocate with me, he will not reciprocate. His natural disposition is to remain indifferent. It is Bhagavan who can reciprocate with us. So by all our endeavors, we need to invite Bhagavan into our heart. So this is very nicely described in the 2nd canto, 8th chapter, wherein it says that Pravishta Karnarandrena Swanam Bhava Suroruham Dunoti Shamalam Krishna Salilasya Yata Sharat. No, actually, there is one more verse before this. Shrunvato Shraddaya Nityam Granatasya Sacheshritam Kalena Na Ati Dirgena Bhagavan Vishate Hrudi. Shrunvato Shraddaya Nityam. Every day, with complete faith, if we hear about Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela of the Supreme Lord. Bhagavan, not about Paramatma, not about Brahman. About Bhagavan's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, with endeavor every day we hear, with faith. Shrunvato Shraddaya Nityam Grinatasya Sacheshritam. Swacheshta means with endeavor, not by the way hearing. So I am cooking and also listening. I am browsing mobile and also listening. I am walking also listening. I am driving also listening. Not like that. We have to give time to hear with dedicated hearing. The other things are required at least. Okay, by the way, we are also doing so that we are not thinking about something else. But it should be done with attentive, dedicated time. So, Gunata Svashishtam Kalena na Atidirge, not after a very long time. Bhagavan Vishate Hrudi. Along with the sound vibration that we are hearing, Bhagavan also enters into our heart. Though Paramatma is there, why would we invite Bhagavan? When Bhagavan and Paramatma is there in the heart. Along with Paramatma, we also have Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Moha, Mastara, Taravata Puja, La Pratishtha, Kanaka, Kamini, Pratishtha. So all these Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna, all these anarthas are overflooding in our heart along with Paramatma. But when Bhagavan enters along with the sound vibration of Krishna Katha, then what happens? Pravishta Karnarandrena Swanam Bhava Saroruham Dhunoti Samalam Krishna. As soon as Bhagavan enters into the heart, all the mala will be gone away to a far distant. When Paramatma is there, mala is also there. But as soon as Bhagavan enters, no mala will remain in the heart. Dhunoti completely cleanses the heart. Just like Salilasya Yata Sharat. In the rainy season, wherever you see the water is completely muddy. But by the time of October, November, when the rains stop, after the rains are stopped, you give a break of 10 days. After 10 days, you see any water body, it becomes crystal clear, no mud. You can see the base of the water body. So like that, our heart becomes completely freed of all anarthas. In that purity of the heart, we can continuously see the Bhagavan who just entered into our heart. That is what happens. So this is what Bhagavatam says from the very beginning. Yes, Paramatma is there, but we need to invite Bhagavan into our heart. The very second verse of Bhagavatam, Vedyam Vastava Matra Vasujudam Tapatrayon Mulanam. What was that? The next last line actually. Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krute Kimva Parayarishware Sadyo Hrudi Avarudyate Atra Kritibi Sushrushubi Tatshanat. Sushrushubi, those devotees who dedicate their life to hear the Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela of the Supreme Lord. Tatshanat, matlab immediately, not after a very long time. Hrudi Avarudyate Atra Kritibi. The Lord makes his manifestation in their heart. Though Paramatma is there, but when we hear about Bhagavan, the Bhagavan will enter into the heart. When Bhagavan enters, no mala will remain in that heart. The mala will be completely taken away. That is the solution which is awarded to us from the very beginning of Bhagavatam till the end of the Bhagavatam. So Paramatma is there, but all our endeavors are to invite Bhagavan into our heart. That is the essence of Bhagavatam.
So Prabhuji, will sadhana bhakti help us to will help us to invite, but it won't means completely give the result. We have to go beyond sadhana bhakti. That means
What do you mean by going beyond sadhana bhakti?
that means the stages of bhakti, sadhana bhakti or rupanuga bhakti or whatever the stages as explained.
Sadhana bhakti goes all the way up to bhava and prema bhakti. So when one comes to prema bhakti platform, suddenly the Lord appears in the heart. In Prema Bhakti means Lord's manifest in the heart of devotee. That is called Hari Darshana, Adi Hari Madhurya Anubhava. Recently, we have been discussing in our Telugu classes. Every Sunday morning, we have this Friday morning Telugu classes. We were doing second chapter of Bhagavatam, first canto. So the sadhana bhakti takes us all the way up to Hari Darshana and Hari Madhurya Anubhava. When one experiences Hari Madhurya, one loses all taste for the material world, which comes in the 11th canto of Bhagavatam. 11th canto says, Bhakti para Isha Anubhava Virakti. Virakti Anyatra Chaisa Tikayaka Kala. When we practice sadhana bhakti, eventually two things will happen. What are the two things? Para Isha Anubhava. We experience the Supreme Lord, the Lord of the spiritual world, Paravyoma. When we experience the Lord, Virakti Anyatra. The Virakti toward this entire material world immediately takes place. So these two things will happen simultaneously. Like Dhruva Maharaj had the darshan of Supreme Lord and he lost interest in this entire world. He only interested in Prema Bhakti, Bhakti Bhava. So that will take some time. The intense endeavor that Dhruva put in a short span of time. He did tapasya for 6 months, but intense endeavor. So we may be doing small amount of tapasya. We have to do for a long time. So it is like a product. A product of 1000, you can attain it 100 by 10 or 10 by 100. In 10 days, 100 units of effort you put, or in 100 days, you can put 10 units of effort. Or in 1000 days, you put 1 unit of effort. In 10,000 days, you put 0.1 units of effort. It's up to an individual how much effort one can put on a daily basis. So, I mean, this is not a right example, but just to give, because all of us understand mathematics, so I'm just giving how much effort we are putting. That determines when we will attain, when we will come to this point.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, that means this this Paramatma is only this function what Bhagavad Gita said, Updashta Anumanta Bhakta Bhakta Mesaram. That means
That
he is
also,
only...
and Sarvasya Chaham Visanyavishtu Matta Smritir Jnanam Aponam Cha also.
Okay.
He does the basic functionality for a human being, what they are supposed to do, that he provides.
Okay. But not go beyond that.
He can assist to some extent, but not completely. Yeah, he may direct us towards a devotee, or that much he can do. But dealing personal interaction, personal adan pradan also Bhagavan karte.
Yes.
What you see here with respect to Dhruva Maharaj, that all happens with Bhagavan.
Hare Krishna प्रभु जी धन्यवाद प्रणाम
Yes, Mataji.
प्रभु जी जनरली ऐसा बोलते हैं ना कि गुरु जैसे आपके बारे में सब मतलब हमने किसी से पूछा था गुरु सब जानते हैं क्या, तो उन्होंने बोला कि गुरु को जितना परमात्मा बताते हैं उतना वो जानते हैं, ऐसा सब नहीं जानते। तो मतलब परमात्मा रेसिप्रोकेट तो करते हैं ना, मतलब परमात्मा उस तरीके से हमारे लिए सहायता करते हैं ना?
हाँ करते हैं, ऐसे मैं नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, but see, no need to get into so many details. That is there, but still, Bhakti is in relation to Bhagavan, not in relation to Paramatma. So that should be the main focus. Enakena prakarena mana Krishna niveshayat, not mana Paramatma niveshayat. Paramatma may do all those things to the extent what is required, but ultimately we want to go to Bhagavan. So in order to go to Bhagavan, first we need to invite Bhagavan into our heart. Then Bhagavan will invite into his heart. His heart means his abode. Ye yatamam prapadyante tamstava bhajamaham. If we invite Bhagavan into our heart, and Bhagavan will invite us into his heart. His heart is spiritual abode.
और वो तो साधना भक्ति से ही होगा ना प्रभु जी, भगवान को इनवाइट करना है तो उसको डीप करके।
ओके, वही ध्रुव महाराज भी वही कर रहे हैं इधर। जो साधना उन्होंने किया 6 महीने में, उसके वजह से भगवान अपीयर्ड इन हिज हार्ट।
Yes,
but whatever it is, don't worry. So I understand all of your emotions, but in any case, here the point is See, Dhruva Maharaj being a devotee, being a realized devotee is telling, so we should accept it. Normally, in our day-to-day life, though we may say that I am living, but from Bhakti point of view, from a Acharya, from a devotee, from a Mahajana point of view, that is as good as dead. A person living means a person is 100% dedicated to Lord. That means he is living. If not, he is as good as dead. So this is the mood of Acharya. This is the mood of Mahajanas. So we cannot deny that. That is what they are expecting from us. So we should strive to become like that. So in that way. So he says, "Oh my dear Lord, you by your Chit Shakti, Swadhamna means Chit Shakti, Lord's internal potency, have brought to life the power of speaking in me, so that it can describe your form, qualities, and activities. Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila. Till now, when I met Narada Muni, what I was speaking, what my mouth was saying, what my mind was thinking, I want a place superior to that of Brahma. I want a place, I want a place. I was only having anchoring about the material ambitions. But now, either my mind nor my mouth does not think about, does not say anything about like that. They only think about or talk about your Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila. That means now the senses are living. The senses for which they are created, now they are doing that activity for the first time in the life. That means they are living now. They are being utilized for the right purpose. And doing any other things other than glorifying the Supreme Lord, serving the Supreme Lord is the senses are doing some unauthorized activities and they are as good as dead. That is the understanding here. That
Hare
speech.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Mataji.
Sorry. One question, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, here the Vishnu, Bhagwan Vishnu has appeared, and मतलब नाम रूप गुण लीला ऐसे जब भी हम लोग बोलते हैं तो कृष्ण ही याद आते हैं, भगवान कृष्ण.
See,
तो
very
मतलब
simple. We are all Krishna's devotees. For us, Nama Rupa Gunalila is about Krishna. And Dhruva Maharaj is Vishnu's devotee. For him, Nama Rupa Guna Lila of Vishnu. For Hanumanji, Nama Rupa Guna Lila of Lord Ramachandra. So that is like that.
yeah, but Prabhuji, the Narad Muni told him to do that Namo Vasudevaya Nama, no? Om Namo
Okay.
Vasudevaya Nama. So
Okay.
Vasudevaya is Bhagwan Krishna, no?
No.
Vasudeva
Vasudeva
is
Krishna
Bhagwan
is
Krishna.
Vasudeva Krishna is Krishna. Just Vasudeva is Vishnu. Among 24 expansions of Lord Vishnu, there is Vasudeva also. Among many unlimited forms of Vishnu, one Vishnu is also known as Vasudeva.
Oh.
See, for us, when we say Vasudeva, we think about Lord Krishna, who is also called as Vasudeva
Yeah,
Krishna.
son of Vasudeva. Yes.
Son of Vasudeva. For Dhruva Maharaj, Vasudeva means it is about Lord Vasudeva, Lord Vishnu. See, from Tattva point of view, there is no difference between Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu. They are all same. From Rasa point of view, there is a difference. So Dhruva Maharaj is an Aishwarya Bhakta. So in that mood, he is considering the form of the Lord and is thinking like that. Even the form of the Lord which Narada Muni described to Dhruva Maharaj is also Vishnu form only, the four-handed Vishnu form.
Yes.
So that form he made it, that form he appeared, it appeared to Dhruva. So it is simple. We are hearing about Krishna's form or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's form and we are contemplating about that form. So devotees one day will get darshan of Krishna or go Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it's all about that.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yadyadviyata urgaya vibhavayanti tattat vapu pranayase tadanugrahaya. While practicing sadhana, whichever form of the Lord we think of, that particular form will appear to us. The Lord will take us to that Vaikunta where that particular form of the Lord is there and will give us opportunity to serve that particular form of the Lord in the spiritual world. So like that. Tattad vapu pranayase tadanugrahaya. Out of his causeless mercy, Lord will bestow those devotees with that particular form upon which the devotees are meditating while practicing their sadhana. So like that.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So now Dhruva says that, what do you mean by my senses have become alive now? That speech, matlab, that speech until now been sleeping, as if dead, not interested in spiritual activities. If our activities, our speech, our thought are not in relation to spiritual life, they are as good as dead, according to Dhruva Maharaj. And from now on, you should put to sleep or destroy that power of speech which was awake in describing material enjoyment of eating and drinking. If our senses, our speech, our mind are only interested in eating and drinking, Dhruva is saying that, please let them be put into sleep or let them be destroyed. Let all my senses become completely spiritual and they only do spiritual activities. They only make spiritual thinking. They only produce spiritual words. That is what he is telling. Bhagavad Gita, text number 269. Yanisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagrati samyame yasyam jagrati bhutani sanisha pashyato muni. Not only my power of speaking was changed, but you have engaged my hands and feet in your service, and you have made my life heirs favorable for your service. Same thing here. The people in general are always eager to perform material activities, but a pure devotee is only interested in performing devotional activities. This is the distinction. So put to sleep, Dhruva Maharaj is telling that. That means please engage the senses only in spiritual activities. That means there is materially sleeping. If the senses are in the material activities, they are spiritually sleeping. So like that. That is the understanding. This means that Dhruva's senses had all suddenly become spiritualized. So by the entry of the Bhagavan, Dhruva's body completely become spiritualized. So there is one more verse which comes in the second canto, 4th chapter, which again our Sukadeva Goswami offering his prayers. Bhuter mahadbir ima puro bibur निर्मायसे ते यदमोषु पूरुषः भुङ्क्ते गुणान् षोडश षोडशात्मकः सोऽलङ्कृशिष्टा भगवान् वचांसि मे. He says that, may the Supreme Lord ornament my words by his presence in them, just as he creates the bodies for the living entities with the material elements and dwells in them, but as the Purusha, being the life of the 16 elements, enjoys them without being contaminated. It's like after creating 24 elements through Maya Devi, the Supreme Lord entered into all the 24 elements as Vibhu Shakti, as Paramatma, combined them. From that combination, he created unlimited Brahmandas. Then he enters into each and every Brahmanda as the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, as the Paramatma of each and every universe. Then he produces Lord Brahma. Then through Brahma, he produces all the living entities, material bodies. Then the same Lord enters into each and every living entity as Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, as the Paramatma of each and every living entity, and makes their bodies alive. It is only as long as the Paramatma is there within our body is functional. The moment Paramatma goes away, the body becomes dysfunctional. Same way is telling that, now Parikshit Maharaj asked me so many queries, especially he wanted me to describe all your wonderful pastimes. I don't have any ability to describe your pastimes. Please enter into my mouth in the form of words and also in the form of Paramatma of the words and decorate those words to describe your wonderful glories. So that's what Sukadeva Goswami says. So Sukadeva Goswami said that without the presence of Supreme Lord, the words that we speak are also useless. So we need to invoke the presence of the Supreme Lord. Then only those words can be considered to be alive. So in that way. So basically, if we are doing spiritual activities, we should consider ourselves as living. If we are not doing spiritual activities but doing material activities, including eating, sleeping, drinking, and speaking, everything, we are as good as dead. That is what Dhruva Maharaj is saying. By your entry, your presence, you, you made me and all my senses spiritual. So that is your great mercy upon me.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद
हाँ,
प्रणाम।
yes,
प्रभु जी, तो जैसे हम प्रसाद खा रहे हैं तो भी वो मटेरियल एक्टिविटी हुई?
If we are eating prasadam as an object of enjoyment, it is a material activity. If we are accepting or honoring prasadam at the mercy of the Supreme Lord as non-different from Supreme Lord, then it becomes spiritual activity. After eating prasadam, with all the energy that we get, if you do spiritual activities, then the prasadam is spiritual activity. If you do, after eating prasadam, if you do all the material activities, then eating prasadam is a material activity.
Means our consciousness also, when we are honoring prasadam, bhava should be there that, oh, we are taking Krishna prasad. It should be like that, na Prabhuji?
Yes.
We are just eating materially prasad, then it will be material activity. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you,
We
Prabhuji.
may, what to speak of prasadam, every day morning we may be chanting, but the mind is traveling all over the universe. Mind is thinking about this, that chanting is also direction.
Yes, Prabhuji, that chanting is also material, you are telling. Okay. Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. So we have to be conscious every time. God conscious. Okay.
That's what here he says, na Dhruva Maharaj says. So till now, I was not conscious of your Nama, Rupa, Gundalila. Instead, I was conscious of the topmost position in the entire universe. Now I don't want that anymore. Now I'm only conscious of your Nama, Guna, Rupa, Lila. So now he says that now I am alive. Till now I was dead. So like that. The same point he continues. So what do you mean by that? So Paramatma to hai. Abhi same questions. Some of you are asking that. So Bhagavan ka, I mean, what is this separateness? So something like that. How Paramatma is there, that point is being indicated in the next verse. एकस्वमेव भगवान् निदमात्म शक्त्या
एकस्त्वमेव भगवान् सत्य
मायाख्ययोरुगुणया महदाद्यशेषम्
मायाख्ययोर्गुणः महत् अशेषम्
सृष्ट्वानुविश्य पुरुषस्तदसद्गुणेषु
सृष्ट्वानुविश्य पुरुषस्तदसद्गुणेषु
नानेव दारुषु विभावसु वद्विभासि
तानेव दारुषु विभवसु वद्विभासि. My Lord, you are the Supreme One, but by your different energies, you appear differently in the spiritual and material world. You create the total energy of material world by your external potency, and after creation, you enter within the material world as the super soul. You are the Supreme Person, and through the temporary modes of material nature, you create varieties of manifestation, just as fire entering into wood of different shapes burns brilliantly in different varieties.
Here he says, O Lord, you the one Lord. Prabhuji, please unmute yourself. Sundarlila Prabhu, kindly mute. O Lord, you the one Lord, having created the universe made of elements starting with Mahatattva by your energy called Maya, composed of gunas, and having entered into the material senses like fire entering wood, manifest them in different ways. Just now, as I mentioned, Mahavishnu, through Maya, by glancing upon Maya, produces 24 elements. Entering into all the 24 elements as Vibhush Shakti combines them. By that combination, he creates unlimited Brahmandas. Then entering into each and every Brahmanda as Garbhodaksha Vishnu. He produces the lotus flower upon which Brahma appears, and Brahma creates 14 lokas and all the living entities, their material bodies. Then the same Lord enters into each and every living entity as Paramatma and makes them active. So you are the one Lord. It is only by your presence everything is acting. So in that way, I know that as Antaryami, Dhruva is telling that, my dear Lord, I know that as Antaryami, as Paramatma, you enter into the ordinary material objects in the material world and being neutral, bring them to life. So the same question one may say that no, how can you say? We are also alive. What do you mean? Only bhakti करने वाला जीवित है, हम नहीं. थोड़ी बकवास मत बोलो, हम भी जीवित है. So for that, Dhruva is saying that I know that as Paramatma, you enter into the ordinary material objects in the material world, Anantarasa Paramanu Chantarastam, and you remain neutral. Paramatma always remains neutral. Udasinavat. Upadrishta, Anumarta, Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwara. बस उतना ही. Samoham sarvabhuteshu name dveshyosti na priyaha. That is Paramatma. You enter into the ordinary material objects in the material world and being neutral, bring them to life. You enter into the material body and make it alive. Entering at the Antaryami, situated in the material senses, to give them life, you manifest things differently. You make everyone act differently. You are there, you are the same Lord, you are the same one Lord only as the Paramatma there in each and every person, but every person is a different, every person acts differently, every person behaves differently, every person thinks differently. That is your uniqueness. The senses of your, but on the other hand, the senses of your devotees by your mercy focus on you and become spiritual. Those senses which focus on the Supreme Lord or Supreme Lord's Nama, Rupa, Gundlila are said to be spiritual, since they are completely filled with your presence. Though Paramatma is there in the heart of each and every living entity, but Paramatma is neutral or indifferent to them, just like they are indifferent to Paramatma. But on the other hand, for devotees, the devotees are completely conscious of Bhagavan, who is in the heart of those devotees, and that Bhagavan is also completely conscious of that devotee in whose heart, in whose heart the Bhagavan is there. So in the case of normal people, Paramatma is indifferent of Jivatma and Jivatma is indifferent of Paramatma. But in the case of devotees, the devotee is fully conscious of Bhagavan and the Bhagavan is fully conscious of the devotee. This is the difference between both the cases. The senses of others, however, focus on Maya alone. The people in general, they only think about the material sense objects and become only, thus their senses are called material senses. The same fire manifests differently in different woods. So there is so much gradation. The people who think materially, everyone thinks differently. The difference comes as the fire is different in different wood, something like that. The word Sadamna used in the previous verse and Mayakaya used in this verse indicate this conclusion. Sadamna indicates they are spiritually conscious. That's why their entire body and senses are spiritual. That's why it is said they are alive. In the case of common people, under the bewilderment of Maya, people are materially conscious and they are said to be dead. So this current verse talks about the condition in the material world. How, though Paramatma is there, but Paramatma is indifferent to Jivatma, Jivatma is indifferent to Paramatma. Though they are living, they are performing so many activities, but they are as good as dead from the spiritual point of view. The previous verse talks about the devotees who become completely conscious of Nama, Rupa, Gundlila, Bhagavan, only they are alive. All others are dead. So those who are alive are called as Swadamna. Those who are dead are called as Maya Kaya. So in that way, this is the distinction between both the people. Dhruva Maharaj is indicating. So this is Dhruva Maharaja's conclusion. So After stating this, what is the condition of the people in the material world? What is the condition of the people in the spiritual consciousness and material consciousness? Now, Dhruva is going to talk about his own situation. What kind of devotee is he? In which category he belongs to? He belongs to people in general who are indifferent to Paramatma, or he belongs to the devotee who is completely dedicated to a Supreme Lord. So that is indicated in the next two verses. Talks about the four kinds of devotees that are described in Bhagavad Gita. Artho Jignashur Artharthi Jnani cha Bhartarshaba Chaturvida Bhajanti Mam Jana Sukritno Arjuna. So these four category of devotees, they worship the Supreme Lord. So what kind of devotees are they? So Dhruva Maharaj is talking about them. Tvaddhattaya vayunayedamachasta vishvam
Dattaya vayunai vurchastam vishvam
Supta prabuddha iva nata bhavat prapannaha.
Supta prabuddha ivanath bhavat prapanna
Tasyapavargya sharanam tava padamulam.
Tasyapavarga sharanam tava padamulam
Vismaryate kritavidha katamarta bandho.
Vismaryate krutavidam kathamartha bandho. Translation. O my master, O Brahma, Lord Brahma is fully surrendered unto you. In the beginning you gave him knowledge, and thus he could see and understand the entire universe, just as a person awakens
from sleep and visualizes
and visualizes his immediate duties. You are the only shelter of all persons who desire liberation, and you are the friend of all who are distressed. How, therefore, can a learned person who has perfect knowledge ever forget you?
So out of the four people, Artho, Jignashu, Artharthi, Jnani, in this verse, Dhruva Maharaj talks about three devotees. What kind of sadhana they follow and what kind of aspirations they have. And the fourth category of devotee will be described in the section number 9. So here Dhruva is saying, O Lord, the Jnani Bhakta surrender to you. So out of the four, he is coming from the backward. First he starts with Jnani. The Jnani Bhakta surrender to you sees this universe through knowledge given by you, like a sleeping person who has woken up. So now, kindly understand. All of us are also seeing this world. How? We are seeing this world as an object of enjoyment, as an opportunity to explore the different means and ways of enjoyment. For people in general, this world is a place of enjoyment. They want to go to this place, that place. Here, at least in the place where I am, Mandi and all, the buses are always full of people who are traveling to Kullu Manali. They want to enjoy. And some people want to go to Ladakh. They want to see all the snow and all those skating and all they want to do. So like that. So for people, the different things in this world are object of enjoyment. They see it like that. That seeing is like sleeping. But a Jnani Bhakta, when he was empowered by the Supreme Lord with the proper understanding of this world, he sees this world in a different way. The common people see this world as an object of enjoyment, just like when we are sleeping in the dream, we see all the merriment of enjoyment things. But as soon as we wake up, we see the reality. Similarly, a person empowered by the Supreme Lord, a Jnani Bhakta, sees this entire world as an object of as an article to serve the Supreme Lord. Instead of seeing this world as an object of enjoyment, a Jnani Bhakta sees this world as an object of service to Supreme Lord. And some Jnani Bhakta see this world as illusory, temporary reality. And they don't have any interest in this world. So like that we can see. The Jnani Bhakta surrendered to you sees this universe through the knowledge given by you, like a sleeping person who has woken up. This is first category. And then, O friend of the suffering devotee, Artha Bandho, how can the person who has attained knowledge through you forget your lotus feet? A Jignashu Bhakta who wanted to get knowledge about you, who got the knowledge, and after getting your knowledge, which one attains with a lot of endeavor, how can they forget you? How can they forget your lotus feet, which are the shelter of the Jignashi Bhakta seeking liberation? Tasya Apavarga Sharanam. So first to Jnani Bhakta, Jignasu Bhakta, in between Artha Bandho, Artha Bhakta. Artho, Artharthi is there, na? Artha Bhakta also is indicated here. So like the three devotees are indicated. So Dhruva is saying that, O Lord, you alone possess all powers. You are to be worshipped by those who have knowledge. What is that verse from Bhagavad Gita? Out of these four kinds of people, Jnani is considered to be Udara Sarva Evaite, Jnani to Atmave Matam. So Jnani is considered to be best. So why? Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudevam Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. So what is the consciousness of the Jnani Bhakta? Vasudevam Sarvamiti. He sees this entire universe as the manifestation of Vasudeva. He sees this entire universe as non-different from Lord Vasudeva. He sees everything he sees only Lord Vasudeva. That kind of knowledge he gets. So how can that person will not worship the Supreme Lord? Those who surrender to you, such as Brahma and Kumaras, are Jnani Bhaktas, saw the universe by knowledge given by you. Who are the examples of this Jnani Bhakta? Lord Brahma and Kumaras. So Lord Brahma was given knowledge by Supreme Lord, Tene Brahma Hodaya Adi Kavaye, and four Kumaras are also given the knowledge by the Supreme Lord. When they went to Vaikuntha, when they smelled the fragrance emanating from the tulasi kept on the lotus feet of Supreme Lord, their hearts are completely changed and their knowledge is completely transformed. So now their outlook toward the entire universe is Bhagavan. So something like that. So when you say here Jnani Bhakta, that doesn't mean that he is a Jnani. No. He is a devotee, but he has the temperament of the Aishwarya knowledge of Supreme Lord. How Lord Vishnu is omnipotent, omniscient. So such kind of knowledge. How Lord Vishnu creates, maintains, and destroys the entire universe. Such kind of knowledge. This kind of devotee is interested in such kind of knowledge of Lord Vishnu. And such a devotee is known as Jnani Bhakta. How the Lord created the entire universe, how the Lord maintained the entire universe, how the Lord is non-different from this universe. The Lord's greatness, Lord's opulences. So like that. Their main focus is on the Aishwarya, the greatness of the Supreme Lord, instead of focusing on the sweetness of the Supreme Lord. So like that. Such kind of devotees are called as Jnani Bhaktas. They see the universe like a person who was sleeping but just wakes up. Now, till now, the universe is the object of enjoyment. Now, the universe is Lord Vasudeva himself. They are empowered by the Supreme Lord. They got that kind of knowledge. How can a person who knows the favor you have given him ever forget your lotus feet, which are the shelter of inquisitive devotee, qualified for liberation? The second category of devotees, like Naimisharanya Rishis, the sages of Naimisharanya, who wanted to know more about Bhagavan, who wanted to hear about Bhagavan. When their desire is there, suddenly our Sudha Goswami came there. So they felt as if their life came back. They immediately request Sudha Goswami, please don't waste time. Please sit here. Please speak about Bhagavan. Don't speak anything else. Only Bhagavan, 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 Bhagavan. We have been hearing so many other things. We have been doing so many yajnas till now. Dhumra, our face have become blackened, but nothing happened much. So now only speak about Bhagavan. Kritavan kila karmani saha ramena keshava. Ati martyani Bhagavan Goda kapata manusha. So why the Bhagavan appears among the human beings as a human being? Goda kapata manusha. And he performs Ati martyani, superhuman pastimes. So please speak about all the pastimes. Nothing here and there. Please speak about the pastimes of Lord Krishna and Balram and also other incarnations of Lord Krishna. We don't want anything else. बाकी सब कुछ बहुत सुन लिया. अभी भगवान के बारे में सुनने का कुछ बोलो मत इधर उधर. भगवान के बारे में बोलो. हम सुना था. अभी आपने भागवतम सुन के आया सुखदेव गोस्वामी से. Bhagavatam means the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Now speak about Lord Krishna. Completely A to Z. Nothing else. Such kind of a person who is eager to know about the Lord, who want to hear about the Lord, if they get a good opportunity after so much time, they have been waiting for Suta Goswami to come back for last 60 years. When Mahabharata battle was happening, Roma Harshi Suta was killed by Balramji. Then Suta Goswami was empowered by Balramji, and Balramji sent Suta Goswami to Gurukula of Vyasdev. And he was studying under the Gurukula of Vyasdev. Since then, the Mahabharata battle was over. For 36 years, Pandavas were ruling, Yudhishthira Maharaj ruling. Then Pandavas went back to spiritual world. Then Parikshit Maharaj was ruling for 25 years. About 60 years ruling was done by Yudhishthira Maharaj and then Parikshit Maharaj. Then Parikshit Maharaj was cursed to die in 7 days. So then, during those 7 days, he heard Bhagavatam. So just then, Sutta Goswami, along with Vyasadeva, they all came to Shukatal, the place where Sukadeva Goswami is speaking Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. He heard Bhagavatam as the sum and substance of, as the concluding lecture of his Vedic study. So then he came to Naimisharanya. That means almost 36 plus 25. 61 years they are waiting. So now after 61 years of long waiting, our Sutta Goswami came, Rugrashrava Sutta came. Now they are requesting him, no. You might have heard so many things from Vyasadeva, Jaimini, Kannada, all the disciples of Vyasadeva here and there. We just want to hear about Krishna. Just speak about what is most beneficial for all of us and for all the people of Kali Yuga. Don't tell that I'll speak everything and you analyze and you extract the essence. No, we don't have that much time, we don't have that much patience, and we don't have that much intelligence and capacity also. You please extract the essence of everything and speak. That essence is all about Bhagavan. That much we know. Therefore, speak about Bhagavan, Krishna and Balram. Ati Martyani Bhagavan, Guda Kapata Manusha. So like that. They are called Jignashu Bhakta. That kind of Jignashu Bhakta, if they get to hear from a pure devotee, after hearing, how can they leave the lotus feet of Supreme Lord? Because their eagerness will tell how much they are interested in Supreme Lord. So like that. Even though the sages of Naimisharanya started this 1000-year-old sacrifice with the desire to go to Swarga long back. But now the desire gone into void. Now they want to hear about Supreme Lord and want to come back to Godhead. So that is a transformation that took place by hearing, by associating with pure devotees. So that will happen. So this is the condition of Jignashu Bhakta. So Jnani Bhakta says Vasudevan Sarvamiti. And Jignashu Bhakta says only Krishna Katha, nothing else. We don't want and we are not interested in anything else. One who obtains, one who obtaining the knowledge from you and does not worship you is ungrateful. In spite of hearing about the Supreme Lord, if one does not take shelter of Supreme Lord, they are ungrateful. As Bhagavad Gita says, what was that? Aham sarvasya prabho mattam sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajanti mam buddha bhava samanvita. Those who hear that it is I who create, it is I who maintain, it is I who take care of everything, they definitely serve me. Iti matva, those who understand this, bhajanti mam, they engage in my devotional service. How? Buddha bhava samanvita, manasa vacha karmana. If one does not do it, in spite of hearing, they are ungrateful. Artha Bhakta. O friend of the suffering devotees, O Artha Bandho, it should be understood that this verse mentions the three types of devotees according to Gita verse 716. O friend of the suffering devotees means those who are suffering, those who take shelter of Supreme Lord, like Gajendra. Lord immediately comes and protects them and takes them back to Godhead. They may not be knowledgeable, they may not be inquisitive, but they are actually going through intense misery of this mental existence. If they pray to Supreme Lord, they surrender to Supreme Lord, Lord will quickly take him to his own abode. So like this, these are three categories of devotees with whom you reciprocate in these ways. There is fourth category of devotee also. Indeed, that is me. That fourth category devotee, Artharthi, that is me. I have come to you with a desire to get something material from you. So I am a Artharthi Bhakta. I am such kind of Bhakta. So he explains now. Nunam vibrushtamatayastava mayayate.
नूनं विमुष्टमतय वत्स्य माययते
Nunam vimrushtamatayastava mayayate.
नूनं विमुष्टमतयस्त्वमाययाते
ये त्वां भवाप्यय विमोक्षणमन्यहेतो
ये त्वं भवाप्यविमोक्षणमन्येतो
अर्चन्ति कल्पकतरुं कुन sorry अर्चन्ति कल्पकतरुं कुनपोपभोग्यम्
अर्चन्ति कल्पकतरुं पुनः
इच्छन्ति यस्पर्शजं निरयेऽपि नृणाम्
इच्छन्ति यत् स्पर्शजां निर्यत्यपि नृणाम्. Person who worship you simply for the sense gratification of this bag of skin are certainly influenced by your illusory energy, in spite of having you, who are like a desire tree and are the cause of liberation from birth and death. Foolish persons such as me desire a benediction from you for sense gratification, which is available even for those who live in the hellish condition.
So here Dhruva is talking about the fourth kind of devotee, and he also compares himself to that fourth category of devotee. Those who worship you, the giver of freedom from birth and death. What the Supreme Lord can give? Bhava Apyaya Vimokshanam. He can give complete liberation. Vimokshanam, Vishesha Mukti. But if some people worship him as if you are a material desire tree, Kalpakatarum, Anneheto, for other reasons, and through a corpse like body of human form, desire happiness arising from sense objects, which is available to lower animals and certainly cheated of their intelligence by your Maya. He says that, my dear Lord, though your lotus feet can award Bhavapye Vimokshanam, can take one back home back to Godhead. But those people who come to you and worship you for Anneheto, for some material desires, they are considered to be living dead. Dranam Kunapa. Though they are living, they are breathing, but they are living dead. Because they are coming to you who can award liberation, but they are still asking for material blessings, which are certainly available for animals and also those who are in the hell. So what is the use of which are naturally available for animals and also for the hellish people? What is the use of coming to you and asking for the same things? Such kind of people are considered to be less intelligent and living dead. Vimrushta matayo, because they are bewildered by your Maya. I am such a person who was bewildered by your Maya. I have come to you, but asking for something material which is available for lower species also. The fourth type of devotee, the Artharthi Bhakta, is me. He is the lowest and most foolish. Of the four category of people, the fourth category of devotees, Artharthi the lowest. The first one is Jnani, second one is Jignashu, third one is Artha, the fourth one is Artharthi. Certainly, their intelligence has been cheated. Who are they? They worship you, who give freedom from birth and death for trifling results. Even though, my dear Lord, you can take them back home back to Godhead, but they are worshipping you only for small chocolates. Thus, they worship you as a desire tree. For them, you are a desire tree. Like today, if you see, there are thousands of people are visiting all the holy places like Tirupati, Pandarpur, Kolhapur, Nasik, Vrindavan, Mayapur. So last week I was traveling to Varanasi, Ayodhya. So there are so many pilgrims. Not to find fault with anybody, but majority of the pilgrims come to holy place with a desire, with a problem, seeking for solution, seeking for some blessings. Pilgrims in general, when they come to such holy places, they come in great number, very good. It's a good sign that they are coming. But most of them will have some trifling desire, as indicated here. Artharthi Bhakta. So most of them are in the category of Artharthi Bhakta. Maybe 90% of them may be Artharthi Bhakta. 5% of them we can say Artha Bhakta, who are really in great danger, and they say that other than you, no one else is the solution. Normally, when there is a great problem, physical, mental problem, we may take shelter of doctor here, there. But very few come to Supreme Lord and request Lord to do something. Liberate them completely from this material world. Not for asking immediate solution, but asking for the permanent solution. So, my dear Lord, this disease may be troubling me. Today I may be miserable. If this disease cures, some other thing will come. Some other thing will come. So, please give me complete liberation. Asking like that, very few. So, we can say that 90% Artharthi, 5% Artha, who are really suffered by material birth and death problem. Then, maybe 3%. So, 90 plus 5 plus 3%. Jignashu Bhakta, those who really want to know about the Supreme Lord. Those who come to Lord say, asking that, my dear Lord, please give me a spiritual master who can teach me about you, something like that. And maybe 1 or 2% Jnani Bhakta, those who are already having some knowledge of Supreme Lord, and they just come to thank you, the Lord. Just come to say thank you, Lord. So like that. So very few. Thus they worship you as a desiratory. They come to the Lord asking, my dear Lord, give me a job, give me a wife, give me a child, give my child good ranks, give this, give that, give that only. That's why they treat the Lord as desiratory. They desire happiness through a body comparable to corpse. Such kind of people's body are compared to dead body only. This should not be desired. This kind of desire one should not have. That happiness arising from relation to sense objects is available in the births of pigs. Narake means in the lower species. Even pigs are also having same enjoyment, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. What is so special in human species? Even is simply asking that how are we better than lower species? So like that. So that in that way, it is mentioned in the previous two verses. There are 4 types of devotees who come to you. Among them, the best is Jnani Bhakta. Little lesser than him is, the better is Jignashu Bhakta. The good one is Artha Bhakta. The bad one is Artharthi Bhakta. So like that. I am that Artharthi Bhakta. I am an example of Artharthi Bhakta, like that he says. So now Lord says, oh, आपको सब कुछ पता है. So you know everything, all these just some time back you said you don't know anything, but right now you know everything. Since you mentioned that the Lord gives freedom from birth and death, then the result of worshipping the Lord must be merging in Brahman, Apavarga. Since this is divide of enjoyment of the material body, because when one enters into Brahman, one experiences Brahmananda, which is freed from all the material happiness. So then Dhruva says that, oh my dear Lord, though you say people desire Apavarga, people desire moksha, but the wise do never desire it at all. But the pure devotees never ask for Brahmananda, never ask for Sahyajya Mukti. So what they will ask, what the wise devotees will ask, that Dhruva Maharaj will tell in the next 2 verses. Ya nivritistanubhrutam tava pada padma.
या
यानि
निवृत्तिस्तनुभृतां तव पादपद्म
पादपद्मम्
1 person. Dhyanad bhavajjanakata shravanena vasyat.
Prabhuji, go ahead.
ध्यानात् भवजन कथा श्रवणेन स्वास्यात्
सा ब्रह्मणि स्वमहिम्नि अपि नातमाभूत्
सा ब्रह्मी महिमानि अपि नातमाभूत्
किं त्वन्तकाशिलिलुतात् पततां विमानात्
किन्तु अन्तकाक्षि लुलितां ततां विमानात्. My Lord, the transcendental bliss derived from meditating upon your lotus feet or hearing about your glories from pure devotees is so unlimited that it is far beyond the stage of Brahmanand, wherein one thinks himself merged in impersonal Brahman as one with the Supreme. Since Brahmanand is also defeated by the transcendental bliss derived from devotional service, then what to speak of the temporary blissfulness of elevating oneself to the heavenly planets, which is ended by the separating swords of time. Although one may be elevated to the heavenly planets, he falls down in due course of time.
the bliss for your servant that is available from meditating on your lotus feet, Tava Pada Padma Dhyanad, or from hearing about your pastimes from the pure devotees. Bhavad Jana Katashravanena Vyasyat, either by Smaranam or by Shravanam or by Kirtanam. The happiness a devotee experiences, that happiness is not available in your Brahman, in your form of greatness known as Brahman. What to speak of the happiness for those who fall from the pleasure of Swarga? So, my dear Lord, you are telling about the Apavarga. All these devotees come to you asking for Apavarga. No, no, no. Kindly listen. Your pure devotees are never interested in all these Apavarga and all. They say that why? The happiness they relish in meditating upon your transcendental Nama Rupa Gundlila in Smaranam or in hearing from your pure devotees in describing whatever Shravanam, Kirtanam, etc., in worshipping your deity form, that happiness is incomparable to the happiness one experiences in Brahman. Then what to speak of comparing with the happiness of Swarga, who anyway fall down from there eventually when their piety is over. Tetam Bhuktva Sargalokam Vishalam, Shine Punye Martilokam Vishanti. So the happiness in Brahman could be eternal, but the happiness in Swarga is temporary and anyway they will fall down. If happiness in Brahman only cannot be comparable to the happiness of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, then what to speak of the happiness of Swarga? So like that. Then other things are all no need to talk about. So in that way. The bliss from meditating on your lotus feet or from seeing or hearing about your lotus feet and from your hearing your pastimes from your devotees or meditating on those pastimes is never available in the bliss of Brahman, your form of greatness. So Brahmananda is incomparable in comparison to Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. So that is the understanding. Mahima means a state of greatness. You are great, but the Brahman is your state of greatness. It is only the quality of pervading everywhere. So we always say that Lord is great, Lord is great. How to understand Lord's greatness? Brahman. Brahman is one of the aspect of Lord's greatness. So like that. How can there be bliss in Brahman to the same extent that it exists in you? So Lord asks, how can there be bliss in Brahman to the same extent that exists in you? So you are saying that. So my dear Lord, the bliss one derives from you is different from the bliss one derived from Brahman. Both are different. So Lord Masya says in the 8th canto, Madiyam Mahimanam Cha Parabrahmet Shabditam. That Brahman is my greatness. Brahman is understood to be only the great aspect of Bhagavan. Brahman is not complete Bhagavan. Brahman is only one aspect of Bhagavan that describes the greatness of Bhagavan. That bliss is, of course, never there in those who fall from Swarga enjoyment, which is destroyed by time. That means basically whoever go to Swarga, they will be residing in those aeroplanes, in those heavenly Vimanas. But once their piety is over, they are thrown out of the Vimana, mercilessly. since no other results other than inferior happiness are mentioned through Swarga and liberation. The real result of bhakti is you. The real result of bhakti to you is bhakti to you alone, which gives superior bliss. Thus, the desireless state of the desireless state of the devotee and the self-manifesting nature of bhakti are shown. That means one practices bhakti to get more bhakti. One practices sadhana bhakti to get prema bhakti. Others, those who practice Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, they practice those sadhanas to get Brahmananda. And those who perform Karmakanda rituals to get Swargananda. But the devotees who practice bhakti only to get bhakti. Because practicing bhakti itself gives them happiness. It is not that they have to go somewhere to get happiness. For other sadhanas, they have to painstakingly perform sadhana. After performing sadhana, one day they will get happiness. After attaining liberation. Or after going to Swarga, they get happiness. But for devotees, while practicing bhakti only, while doing Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smarnam only, they get so much happiness, which is superior to the happiness of Brahman. Then what to speak of the happiness that they will get having gone to spiritual world? So like that. So in that way, its incomparable nature is indicated. Here two verses are, one verse is there. This is from 3rd canto 25th chapter, where Lord says that Te darshaniya vayaverudara vilasaha sekshitava masudai hrutatmano pranam shabhaktir anicchato me gatiman vimprayunkte. To the devotees whose minds and senses have been stolen by the attractive limbs of the Supreme Lord, which contains pleasing words, glances, smiles, and pastimes, and which fulfill their desires, that bhakti offers them liberation, though they do not desire it. So basically, when just like Dhruva, who performed sadhana, who had darshan of Supreme Lord, like that any devotee, as a result of their sadhana, the day when they see the Lord's beautiful form, when they have the darshan of the Supreme Lord, there they get to hear from the Lord, they get to experience the sweet glance of the Supreme Lord, they get to experience the sweet smile of the Supreme Lord, and they get to realize the past tense Supreme Lord. Just by looking at the Lord, all the past tense of Supreme Lord are revealed. And such kind of situation, in that such kind of situation, even though if Lord says that, oh my dear devotee, I will give you Sahaja Mukti, please go to Brahman. Why would a devotee will accept Sahaja Mukti? What Sahaja Mukti? There nothing is there. I can't speak to anybody, I can't hear, listen from anybody, I can't see you, I can't serve you. What is the use of going me there? I just want to be with you. If you don't take me to Vaikuntha, please send me to association of your devotees. At least I get to hear, I get to worship your deity form, and I get to contemplate upon your wonderful Nama Rupa Kundlila. That is more better than entering into Brahman. It's like that. Even though Lord is eager to offer liberation, Sahajya Mukti, but such a devotee never desires Sahajya Mukti. So, like that. So this should be the desire of a devotee. A devotee should be aspiring for the darshan of the Supreme Lord, the association of the Supreme Lord's great devotees, the opportunities to hear, describe, and meditate upon, chant, sing, glorify the Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela of the Supreme Lord. That should be the whole and sole desire. If a devotee only had this desire, they should be considered as living. Others should be considered as dead. This is the conclusion of Dhruva Maharaj. Though I am speaking all these things, don't think that I am on that platform. I am just reading the words that are there. So it is like that. So it is time now. We'll stop here. We have come up to 10th verse and we'll continue in the next class, 11th verse onwards. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. मेरे एक क्वेश्चन है. I have one question.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, the Suta Goswamis, whatever the Romharshan, their discussion is there. Actually, if every Purana, if you study hear the story, they start from this story. That this Suta Goswami has started telling this Romharshan, this type of pastime. Even every Karma Kanda pastime they have told. So when they have started this type of pastime, and when they started the Bhagavatam pastime.
See, if the speaker is Romarshan Sutta, that means he spoke all those things before Balramji killed him. If the speaker is Updashava Sutta, then it all happened after Parikshit Maharaj was liberated.
Okay.
In between there are 60 years.
Okay.
Where no Sutta Goswami was speaking.
So that in that some cases it is written Sutta also. That means Romharshan Sutta was there.
No, you need to go through the entire book. You will understand which Sutta is that.
Okay. Yes.
If no name is mentioned, that is Romarshan Sutta.
Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Correct. Other devotees, everything is okay, and I did not confuse, no? Okay.
No, Prabhuji, it is good.
Yeah. So thank you very much. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Prasthapinda ki jai, Vancha Kalpataru Bhakti Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam
Thank you.
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo.
Vaishnavibhyo namo namah.